Hi, it's Orange Girl here with the May edition of Mix It Up Monday for paper issues. And I'm starting out here with some great paper from Pink Paislee's Fancy Free collection by Paige Taylor Evans. And I'm gessoing it all up. I'm not really sure if that's a word. But I'm adding all of this beautiful color to the background based on some of the colors out of the collection. And I end up going a completely different route in the end. You'll see that. And that's kind of why I'm going so fast through this part. But I just wanted you to see that here I go. I'm going through and I'm adding all this color and it's not perfect every time I do this. In fact, a lot of times I end up with something that it really wasn't what I had in mind. I made a cut file based on this collection. It inspired me to make these wonky flowers. I'm adding all of these colors to go with what I want for this layout, and it's just not working. So here's the cut file. I used some of that beautiful paper. I set it up. Those are 2x2 squares, and so I set it up in the file so that these were all about 2 inches by 2 inches. And I go ahead and I decide, ooh, I hate that. I really don't like it. So I decide to start over. And this time I'm just adding splatters instead of using that packaging technique. I'm using the same colors. I'm using Heidi Swapp Coral, Heidi Swapp Peach. I'm using some Mr. Huey Pretty Pink. And then I end up adding in some Mr. Huey Navy as well, as you can see here, because I decided I wanted some of that darker color and I wanted some blue in there. This is my Margarita mix. I love this gelato. It's one of my most favorite colors. Adding some of that in as well. And I just decided that I didn't want all of that color in the background, and I didn't like what was going on with that paper mixed with the color, even though I tried to make it a little less out there because I put the gesso down over it. But it was just too much for me, and I really wanted to highlight the photo and highlight the cut files, and so it just wasn't working. So once I get this far, I've got kind of my basic background done, and I decided to just go ahead and put it together here. But that wasn't the first thing that I ended up changing about this layout, but as you go, you'll see. As I go, you'll see. I knew I wanted to do something over there on that edge, which I end up doing later. That paper that I put over there on the edge is also from the same collection, and it's one of my favorite pieces of the paper that came in the collection. In fact, I got 2 of them. And I just cut it off because I wanted all those colors over there on that side. So as I get this all together, I decide, all right, I'm going to put some tissue behind that, and that's it. That paper from the 6x6 and the tissue, and that's all I'm going to use as far as layering behind the photo for the most part, because I just really wanted it to be more simple. So I decide I like it, and I'm going to use that word embrace that is from the 12x12 chipboard. And so you saw that fly in there. And I decided I'm going to use that for sure, and it's that same kind of coral color, so I really, really like that. The glasses that she's wearing are orange, and she's actually wearing my sunglasses. And we're on our way to get tested for influenza A, which she had, but she just looked so beautiful in the back seat with the iPad and those funny glamorous sunglasses on that I knew I wanted to put Embrace the Glam Life as my title. So I decided I do want to add a little bit more color. So I've got my water brush here, and I'm using that same Margarita mix gelato, and I'm just going ahead and putting it just right behind where the photo is going to go. And I do come in a little bit later and add some more around some of the flowers as well. So I like it, and I like that paper that I used for the leaves. I use the other side for the flowers so much that I decide I want a little bit of that to show behind here. And I want it to look a little wonky, just like my flowers, so I go ahead and I just cut it with my scissors in a wonky fashion. I think that's a word, isn't it? Anyway, so I go ahead and decide that's how I want my background, and I'm going to do some work here now over on the left, or excuse me, the right. Just adding a little bit more of that color over there to tie it all together. And I'm going to put that flower over there eventually too. I made one of the flowers just a little bit smaller. I'm not too worried about how well I'm gluing this down. I just want to get the basics down because I know I'm going to add some stitching here in a few minutes. So I was showing you that I did my stitching. So I went ahead and did my stitching, and I come back. I just basically stitched around parts of the outside and then stitched those leaves down. And I decided I need one more flower up there in the corner. And now I'm going to mess around with the tissue because I can't get the tissue to work the way I want. And I end up cutting some off and like that a lot better. So my title, Embrace Life, are the chipboard pieces that come with the collection. And I want to put the glam, so it says Embrace the Glam Life, in the middle. So this is another place where I started with a great idea and it doesn't end up working for me. Bottom right, there's my daughter. Her little hands are coming in to help me out a little. I decide before I finish the title, I'm going to go ahead and add a little bit more color around some of these flowers. I just wanted a little bit more. And now I'm about ready to commit to the Embrace Life and put my photo down. And here's where I change my mind again. So I want to put in Embrace the Glam Life. Going back to that paper that I love so much that I use along the edge. And I decided I'm going to do this trick that I always do where I just take and make these little squares. And then from the little squares I cut out freehands the letters. And I'm going to cut out the letters the glam. I get the done. And I decide I don't like the T because it's blending in too much. So I make another T. And then I put it on there and I'm like, nope, it's not going to work. The glam, it's not going to fit with the design. And I remembered that I had these awesome letters in that color that is that same color that I'm just loving. So that's another time where I just completely changed my mind with what I had in my head and changed it all up. So now I'm back over on the right and I'm going to finish working on this little guy over here, and I realize, oh, I gotta sew that down. So I bring my sewing machine, just put it right up. You'll get to see that in a minute here. And sew those leaves down. Like I said, this is just one of those times where it seemed like, it ended up actually, once I made the background change, it went a lot faster, and I still had a few little glitches, but it mostly worked. So here's the next part. I decide, okay, I'm going to have to put some thread in here, and I'm going to put something up in that corner. And I think, I already knew that I wanted to put these little X's on here. I feel like they look a little bit like stitches, or just X's, however you want to look at it, but they felt like stitches to me, and I'd done all that other stitching, and so I wanted to put those stitches on. Those are from the puffy sticker sheet. So I play around with the puffy sticker sheet. I play around with the 12 by 12 chipboard letters, or chipboard pieces, and I just don't like any of it. You're going to see me there. Now I'm adding chipboard, cutting chipboard in half, trying to decide, and I just felt it was too bulky, and I just wanted less than that. So then I decide, okay, I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to find, it's too bulky. So I decide I'm going to use that 6x6 piece of the, there it is right there, of the great flower paper, and I'm just going to fussy cut some flowers out. I know it's different flowers, but I thought it had kind of similar, my flowers were inspired by those flowers, so they're kind of similar in some way, and I thought I'd put pop dots on the back, and decided, oh, you know what, I don't like it. And so then I went and I found the perfect piece of flair. I don't even know where it came from. It says Love You on it, and it's that gorgeous color. And so I decide, oh my gosh, that's it. And I'm not really going to put anything else on here. I do end up messing around with those. I still kind of want to use those fussy cut flowers a little bit, but I don't end up using it. I add my date, and I add some journaling, and I'm finished. I hope you play along with paper issues this month. There's lots of fun challenges out there. I would love it if you would play along with this challenge, and I can't wait to see you in the paper issues group. Thanks a lot.